Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today we are doing another 5 looks from one palette kind of video. I hope you guys have been enjoying these, enjoying watching these as much as I've enjoyed filming them, or I'm gonna feel super guilty because these are like eating up a ton of my filming days, to be completely honest. Also, I know I look really funny right now because one eye is done and one eye is not. Normally when I come on these videos, I come on with just my makeup done and then I go away and do the first look. But I was just so caught up in wanting to play with this palette and get started that by the time I had realized I had already done one eye, it was way too late. So you're getting a one makeup eye intro today. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we are going to be playing with my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This is a really old palette. This palette has been around for probably as long as I've had my YouTube channel, maybe even longer. It was one of the first non-MAC palettes that I bought because I always wanted one of these Too Faced tin palettes, and for a really long time I thought I was allergic to cocoa powder, so I knew I couldn't have the chocolate bar ones, although since then we've discovered I'm not allergic to cocoa powder, but I could have this one, so I really wanted to try it. I used to use it a lot when I first got it, but just like every other video, I was always using it to create 1 or 2 looks that were virtually the same. I mean, there's shades in here that it looks like I've never touched, and then there's other shades that it looks like I've put a little dent into. But considering how old this palette is, it doesn't have that much wear into it. And to be honest, the other thing I was really surprised at, and I can say that because I did this one eye with it, is that these colors are still coming out just as beautiful. I'm just gonna show you a few of them really quickly. They haven't lost any pigmentation. They're still super blendable. The formula feels basically the same as when I got it. I mean, I can't completely remember, but I was really surprised that none of the pigmentation has gone. So because this is a more neutral sort of a palette with just a few pops, sorry, I kicked my tripod. Just a few pops of color here and there. We are going to be getting a lot of very neutral, very wearable looks, but same rules apply. We're going to use every color out of here at least once. The 5th look is always reserved for whatever I cannot find guidance for on the internet. So today's 5th look, I think, uses 6 shadows, so that's a lot. There's 18 shadows in here. Let's just get started. So same rule, or not same rule, same products that I've been using lately, just because it's easier. We have been using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot to prime our lids. It's my favorite lid primer. Also been using my Fenty Flyliner to do some liner because it's not waterproof, so it comes off a little easier. And today we're gonna be using my Benefit Roller Lash just because it doesn't deposit as much product on my lashes as a Voluminous or something like that, like a Too Faced Better Than Sex or a Tarte Big Ego or what is it, L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Those put a lot of product on to really give you volume, and because I'm going to be taking on and off shadows, I didn't want to fuss with that. So I've got my Too Faced palette here. Now the mirror in here is super teeny tiny, so I'm going to try and use it, but if not, I do have a backup mirror, so I'm going to get you guys nice and close like we always do. So first color we are going to dig straight into today is this color Nectar. It's this beautiful light shimmer, and it just looks gorgeous all over the lid. You could totally stop right here, I would say, and just have a really pretty natural look. Even put a big false lash on or something like that, and it would just be super pretty. But obviously we are going to keep going. So I'm carrying this up into the crease and a little higher just because I do want it to peek out a little bit over the top, just like that. We will be getting back into this color in a little bit, but for right now we're going to go on to the color Peach Pit, just right here. A lot of shimmer shades in this palette, but they do go on really nicely, I find. I was pretty surprised at how well the palette is still working in terms of the blendability of the shadows, the pigmentation of the shadows. I mean, a lot of powder products last a really long time, but you do expect them to give out on you a little bit. So I'm just sticking that a little bit underneath just to create a kind of smoky look, and then in the crease. Now you don't have to be super specific in this placement. We are going to be covering up some of the lid, so just get that exactly where you want it in the crease. Then we're going to go into, it tastes like it's still, sounds weird because it's on my eyes, but I feel like I just got some fallout and it still tastes very peachy. still smells very peachy as well. It's definitely more faint than it used to be, but it still smells really good. So we're going to use the color Talk Derby to me. It's like a blacky blue color with some purple shimmer, and we're just going to pop that right in the outer corner just to really smoke that out. This is a really, really pretty look. Would be really good for like day or night. Again, a big false lash would really glam this up. Now we're going into the color Luscious right up here, and I'm just taking that on my finger because it's just easier. And I'm putting that more or less all over my lid. And then I'm also going to go back into that Nectar color just because I thought that this color was a little lighter, and we're just going to pop that into the inner corner. And at this point, I'm also just using my finger to bring it a little bit under my lash line as well. Alrighty, so I've added a liner and a mascara, and we're going to call that the first look done. I really like this look. It is a little purpley, but also very champagne-y, very soft, very like almost like a softer version of a dark smoky eye. It's not very dark at all. It's just, I don't know, it's just very pretty. I think it would be good for a lot of things. If you wanted to, you know, glam this all up, it would look really pretty with a nice bright red lip, or just for every day. I'm really, really into this look, and like I said, I was really surprised with how well these shadows are still performing after all of these years. So take note of this look. I'm going to skedaddle away, take this off, and we're going to come back with look number 2. All right, you guys, I am back with look number 2. I'm not really sold on this look. As much as I was like hyped up for the first look that we did, I would say that the shades, some of the shades that I used in this look just did not perform as well as I wanted them to, but whatever, we'll just continue on. So first we're going to go into this color White Peach, and kind of like what we did with that Nectar color in the first look, I'm basically just putting that all over my lid, all over my crease. Now you'll see I still have a bit of liner left. I left some of it just to make it a little easier on myself in terms of getting the eyeshadow on and off. Because I'm going to be just going back over it anyway. And I did make a point to put some of this into my inner corner as well. So we've got kind of a nice base. Then I went in with the color Delectable. It's this purple color. Now this color didn't really perform exactly how I wanted it to, if I'm completely honest. So I basically just took it and swept it all into the crease, really deepening that up. I need a better mirror. This mirror is just not doing the trick for me, you guys. So like I said, all in the crease from the inner to the outer. We're going to kind of do a little bit of a purple goldy halo here, which I do really, really like. Now at this point, I tried to take some on the brush and put it kind of like on the outer and the inner corner, but I found that it just didn't come out as pigmented as I wanted it to. So I ended up just switching over to my finger, which is totally fine. I mean, the thing is if you're just starting to get into makeup, like it's great to invest into, you know, a nice set of brushes that has everything you need, but it's not really necessary because ultimately your fingers will do everything for you that a brush could do as well. Like I used fingers today to blend out some of my concealer underneath my eyes just because it's a thicker formula, and I was having some difficulty working with it. So, you know, next thing we're going to do is go into Puree, and I'm just taking a little bit of that and kind of sweeping it up and above where that purple is. Just a little bit, nothing crazy. Now in the look that I was following, they did do, you know, the tape trick and had a wing liner. I decided not to, so I'm going back into that Luscious color and just patting that right down the center for a kind of halo effect. I don't want it going all the way in or all the way out. Now at this point you can basically work back and forth between the Luscious and that Delectable color until you get sort of the blending that you want to get. And then I took a little bit of that White Peach color again and just sort of popped that in my inner corner just for a bit of a highlight. Alrighty, so that's going to be it for look number 2. I've just kind of, like I said earlier, a lot of the looks in this palette are going to be very, very neutral, very brown based. That's just because that is the way that the palette is. You're not really going to get anything super crazy or wild out of this. I mean, you could definitely get a look that's a lot darker, but you know, for this video, I've just kind of realized as I was doing this look and swiping through the photos that I'm going to be trying to copy, is that these looks are going to all look kind of similar and they're all very neutral. and all very wearable, so I hope that's okay. I do really like the way that this turned out. Purple and gold obviously look great together. It's a very royal combination. So that's this look. I just had like a brain like, nyeh. So that is this look. I'm going to run away now and come back with look number 3. All right, you guys, here we are back with look number 3. This one is, again, it's just a neutral eye, but it's a little different than the last one. It definitely used different colors, but I guess similar-ish effect. Whatever. So the first color we're going to go into is Georgia. It's like that really, really nice light pale pink. And I'm just putting that all into my crease. The longer that I go doing these videos, or like during the video, like the farther into the looks I get, the more red my eyelids get just as an undertone from me like constantly wiping away makeup. So then I'm going to go into the color Puree again. And I'm going to take that and just build into my crease a little above. This is the point at which I would say you can shape out whatever the final look is going to be. So if you want it to be, you know, a little bit more sharp of a look and you want to end up doing like a winged liner, you could definitely do that. Or if you're like me and you prefer sort of a more rounded shape, you can definitely do that as well. And you can get as high in your crease or, you know, stay as low down as you want depending on how bold you want this to be. This is just a clean brush that I use just to do a little bit of blending. So then I'm going to take a flat brush and we're going to go into the color Summer Yum. Now this color is gorgeous and it really surprised me at how pigmented it was, how instantly and evenly it went on. Just gorgeous. So I think what I'm realizing about this palette is a lot of the colors are hit or miss. Now, I can't remember if they've always been that way or if it's just some have lasted longer than others, but whatever. So then we're going into Charmed, I'm sure. It's this deep brown here. And I'm basically adding that into the center. We're going to leave some of that Summer Yum kind of closer to the outside, but these do layer beautifully on top of each other, just like that. So then I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer. I've just got my NARS concealer here, but you can use whatever you have on hand. I tried to do this without the concealer and the effect just wasn't as nice. So I'm just doing like a little line kind of up the center, and then with my finger I'm just going to kind of blend that out just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a dark, like really dark is not the word I'm looking for. Like it doesn't have to be a really thick layer of concealer. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough so that when you pop the shimmer over it, it just gives it a little extra pop. So once that's dried down, and because I have such a thin layer of it, it is dried down, we're going to dig into the color Cobbler right here and just press that all in the center of the lid. Just like that. So that is going to be it for look number 3. Another really, really pretty, very soft look. You could definitely dig in, like you could kind of follow this look and dig in with some of these darker colors as well if you really wanted to make this stand out. But I don't know, I'm a big fan of this. I've really been liking the way that like orangish, brownish, coppery kind of looks have been looking on my eyes lately. I think with every video that I do using like a palette that I've had for a long time, that ends up being like my favorite look of the video. So this is definitely a top contender. I do really like this, but my favorite shade in the whole palette is this Bless Her Heart color. It's this beautiful green, and we're actually going to be using that in the next look. So fingers crossed that turns out exactly as I hope it will. Right, here we are back with look number 4. This look actually starts out very, very similar to the last look that we did. It uses a lot of the same colors. It just kind of adds more of a green pop to it with a little bit of like a golden tint, whereas the last one was just strictly brown color. So like I said, we're starting the same way. So we're going to start with Georgia. I'm doing less all over the lid this time just because there's a lot more colors going into this one. I did change this one up a little bit from the picture just because I liked the way that my mind worked a little bit better. So then we're going to go into Puree again. And once again, this is the point where you're going to carve out whatever shape you want the final look to be in the picture, which I will have linked down below for this look. She very much like kind of made it a little sharper up in the corner, but like I said, for my eye look And as a personal preference, I like to stay pretty round. So I'm going to dip into Summer Yum, which is the color right next to Puree, and I'm just going to pop that in. It's just a little bit more orangey, and I wanted it to be a little bit more of that kind of like orangey copper sort of a look. Okay. Then I decided to dig into Tempting. It's the darkest color in the palette. It's kind of like a black kind of shade. And just in the outer corner, I'm just tapping that in and then working it a little bit into the crease. Nothing crazy, just a little bit, just for a little depth, a little darkness up there. Just like that. Then we're gonna go into Bless Her Heart, which is that beautiful green. It's my favorite color in the palette. I love that, and I'm just going to basically pop that all across my lid. Again, not all the way to the outer corner because I do want to leave some of that dark showing through. Just think it's really pretty color. And just because I wanted this to be a little bit more golden, I went into the color Luscious as well, just a tiny, tiny bit, and kind of just like tapped that a little bit over top just to give it a really subtle, subtle glow. And then back into that white peach color right at the top for an inner corner highlight. That's pretty much it. So that is going to be look number 4. I think that this is my favorite one. I know that I thought last one was going to be my favorite, but this one is very, very similar to the last one, just has a little bit of green in it instead of sticking with all of the like browns and bronzy shades. So the last look, I'm going to try and use up everything left in the palette. Now, originally I told you guys, like at the beginning of the video, that there were gonna be 6 colors I was gonna need to use at this point, but I subbed in the Tempting color instead of using that Delectable Purple in the last look. So I just cut myself down by 1. So the colors that I have to use are Peaches and Cream, Caramelized, we have to use Candied Peach, Just Peachy, and Bellini. So we've got a lot of like pinky shades left to work with. So I'm just going to come up with a very, very nice and easy like brownish, pinkish kind of a look. I'll probably dip into a few colors just in case, but it should be pretty easy now that I've eliminated that dark black shade. Although who knows, I might want to dig into that. So I'm going to go away and come back with look number 5. All right, you guys, this is it. This is look number 5. It turned out actually really nice. I like the way that it came out. And it's really all of the looks I've done in this video have been really, really simple, really quick, really easy. So first things first, we're going to take the Peaches and Cream color in the corner, and I'm going to put that all across my lid, up into my crease, underneath my brow bone, pretty much covering, you know, any space between my lash line and my brow with that color. Just to kind of even it out, give me a nice even space to work on. So then I'm gonna dip into the color Candied Peach. It's like this bright pink in the middle. It's got some sparkle to it. Take that color, and I'm basically just gonna put that all in my crease. Just working it back and forth, back and forth. Also kind of taking it up and above a little bit. Just like that. Then I'm going to go into the caramelized color. And I don't normally use shimmers in my crease, but I actually really like the way that this one ended up looking. So I just popped it right in my crease, working it more in the outer corner than in the inner corner, but really trying to just blend that out for a nice seamless transition. And because we have all that pink so high up above, you know, to add this in the crease, we're not really losing it. And I also took this color and put it underneath my eye. And it gives like a really, really pretty kind of like glittery metallic effect. It's really nice. Using that same brush, I'm going to go into the color Charmed, I'm Sure. It's like that dark matte brown, and I'm just using that to really, really darken up that outer corner. Like that. All that's left to do is finger paint, so we're going to go into a Just Peachy. That color I'm going to take across the majority of my lid, not all the way out and not all the way in, but the majority. Nice pink. And then we're gonna go into Bellini, which is just right here. And we're gonna use that in the inner corner and sort of blend it into that other pink. That's basically all there is to it. So that is it. That is our final look for this 5 looks from one palette video using my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Honestly, I don't know. I liked all the looks. They're all very wearable. They're all very me. They're all very, you know, neutral, I would say. But I honestly also kind of found that kind of boring because just using all the other palettes I've been using, I've been getting a lot of really, really pretty looks, a lot of bold looks, crazy things that I wouldn't normally do. And this has all been pretty much in my wheelhouse. I would say, you know, some colors in here perform much better than others. Others are kind of like meh. But honestly, even just looking at this, other than getting some dark kind of purple smoky eye going, maybe using the green and stuff, I don't know really how much versatility this palette actually does have. Now, you might totally disagree with me, and that is your right. No worries. This is just my opinion and my perception of the palette. I don't know. Every time I do a declutter video, I look at this and I think, do I really need that? And I always end up keeping it. But this video made me feel the same way I've always felt, where I look at it and it's beautiful, but it's not really colors I don't have in other palettes. And like I said, for me, and maybe that's just my imagination or lack thereof, I can never get very far outside of just natural looks for this. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that if you have this palette, you'll go and play with it now. Maybe you'll get better looks than I did. If you know, have an Instagram or whatever, tag me or send it to me in an instant message. I would love to see what you guys can create with this palette. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what your favorite look was, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.